Good morning, Tropico, and this is Juanito bringing you the. Oh, wait, Sanhelius here, and I'm here to tell you about the new game Tropico 5 from the series and what features it will have. So basically, what we know so far is from the trailer is nothing, because actually that's all what it shows. It's nothing. It's El Presidente playing with his ball, playing with his gigantic ball. And that's about it. That's last 40 seconds or maybe 1 minute, something like that, and doesn't show anything. So that's not so useful, is it? But thankfully we have a list of features that will be implemented into Tropico. So let's just quickly go through them, shall we? So probably the reason why we didn't see any new art or video from the gameplay is because the all new art and new artwork will be reworked to provide Tropico 5 with a distinct historic visual identity. We will be able to choose from over 100 unique buildings from each of the individual areas, so that's good and I like that. And because Tropico 4 use almost or even the same art assets, so that wasn't really evolution, it was just big expansion from Tropico 3. So let's see what they will do with it. Thus far we don't have any information about it. So other new things, the eras from the 19th century to the 21st, each era carries its own challenges and opportunities. Begin your reign during colonial times and advance your nation through the modern era and into the future. So a little bit like modern times expansion for Tropico 4, just taken to the 11, because you know in modern times you had about additional 10 or 20 years of technological advancement, but here it looks like 200 years, so that will make a game longer, you may ask, and that's a really good question. How one man can live this long, and the answer to is it can, because of the dynasty, which means each member of El Presidente's extended family is present on the island and may be appointed to key leadership position, earning skills and experience in the assigned roles. So this is really interesting. So probably you'll have a couple of more roles to put your family into, and the skill experience, I think it will be similar to the Tropico 4, when you can the more you played with one skill or trait or whatever that was, you can upgrade it. It was upgraded after the mission, but in here probably it will be upgraded during the mission, so it would be good to focus on the one thing to earn experience faster and so on and so on. The next thing, research and renovate. Advance your nation by discovering new buildings, technologies and resources. Transform your old buildings into modernized, hyper-efficient designs worth of economic superpower. So that's again like modern times, just taken to the 11. Actually it was, I don't remember which DLC it has. It was basically making fun from civilizations, but you could research the technologies in there, so it will be like that, just more complex probably. And about the upgrading buildings, it will be probably like, as said before, in modern times, when you can, for example, upgrade farm to organic farm, which aside from bigger size, it was just better in every way, shape or form. So, and probably every or almost every building will have these upgrades. So this is really good to actually make this game less boring, because when you set up your island you have basically not that much to do, just collecting money and dealing with some crisis or something, but that wasn't that time consuming. And here, when you can upgrade every of your buildings all the time, probably a couple of times, that will be actually something to do. And it will be probably money sink for your money, because in Tropico 4, 3 and 1, if you set up your economy right, you could just sit back and do nothing and spend this money on nothing basically. So I'm really glad that they will put it in here. Next is advanced trade system and trade fleet. Amass a global trade fleet and use your ships to secure, import and export trade routes to neighbor islands and key nations. So I hope it will be again like civilizations or like Port Royal game from Calypso as well. When you have to build your fleet first, so you probably need some kind of shipyard and building trade ships and hopefully battleships as well to protect your trade fleet, and that you will be able to command them, like choosing the targets or patrol routes, or you know, maybe what kind of guns they're using and so on. So the more complex it will get, it will be the better for the game, and it will be another thing to focus when you are, you know, done with building your island. So yeah, I'm really happy about that as well. That looks really interesting, and hopefully you will be able to build really large fleet later on. And just be careful, because Kaya has arrived. Next one, explore the island, discover what lies beyond the fog of war, send prospectors to look for new mineral and ore deposit, but beware of hostile animals and native tribes. So that's another thing that will bring it closer to RTS game. It won't become StarCraft by any means, but you know, that will give you something to do with sending scouts, and hopefully it will take it even one step further, and you'll be able to control maybe your military when you're fighting the rebels, and you have to send your scouts to find the rebels when they're hiding. And because when you deal with hostile animals and night tribes, I will assume it will be 19th century, the game should give you something else to do in 20th and 21st century. And the best way to do it will be your neighbors attacking you or the rebels attacking you. So one of those, and it would bring more complexity to the game, the same as with your fleet. So you'll have your land battles and fleet battles, and that will be appealing to a lot of players. On the other hand, some people play Tropico as just an economic situations and don't want that, but I think that will be good for the game because it will make less boring. So I just hope for that. And last but not least, cooperative and competitive multiplayer. Up to 4 players can build up their own cities and economies on any given island map. Players can share resources and citizens or declare war on each other. That is actually interesting, but before I'll talk about advantages of it, let's talk about one serious disadvantage, which I hope Tropico won't have, but always on DRM is such a fail idea for economic simulator game, which Tropico 5 is. Yeah, I hope that the story from SimCity 5 won't repeat itself, and we won't have it basically, because SimCity was unplayable by first couple of weeks for no apparent reason. And then the multiplayer features in there are like almost non-existent. I can't understand why would you put something like that into the game. It was not really competitive from the multiplayer side of things, because you cannot have any army or you cannot hurt any of your opponents. It's just cooperation, and for cooperation you don't need always on the IM. And most people play SimCity and probably Tropico as well in single player. They mostly play campaign, and later on they like play custom maps with some unique challenges or something like that. But from the economic side of things, they are not playing to compete with others, especially SimCity, because now here in Tropico you could declare war on somebody, hopefully, as we talked before, build your fleet and destroy his fleet or bombard his island, or maybe even invade them with your army and make them suffer. That would be really interesting. To make it more like an RTS, like Age of Empires would be probably the closest game to look for when it comes to Tropico, with all these resources and units. It looks really good. Let's just hope it won't come with the DRM. That's pretty much what sums it up. I will look for more Tropico 5 news, and when I get some, I'll make another video. So far, I'm really excited, and until next time.